or justice doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. So it's talking about when the wicked take control of a society, justice is never practiced. Injustice overtakes the population. Turn to Isaiah, the 8th chapter, verse 22. It talks about the attitude of the people that ultimately are experiencing wickedness, experiencing injustice. Verse 22, they shall look unto the earth. The word earth here is talking about the land that they're living in. They'll observe the things that are taking place in their land. And behold, trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness or despair. It talks about the people reach a stage where they become more and more depressed at the things that they're seeing around them, because there's no redress of grievance, there is no justice taking place, there's no place they can go to have their needs addressed, because wicked dominate the whole society. Let's go on. Proverbs 28, verse 15. 28:15. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. Again, America has never experienced a wicked government. And we look at these principles in the Bible, the people that are cheering the Biden administration have no idea of what they're going to experience.
Can you give us some indications to what wickedness will look like when it happens?
Well, we're going to go through these scriptures, and then if you have questions, we'll address them. Proverbs 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. I was thinking about what Sharon was saying about how they character assassinated Trump. Well, that was because they bought into what the media was influencing them to focus on. He's not perfect, but God put him there for a reason. And the reason that God put him there is obvious. He made this country great. He prospered the people. Were thriving, were prospering, and didn't even know it because they were focused on what the media was telling them. If God decides to allow this thing to go through, it'll be something that the people deserved. Let's go on. Particularly Christians. Scripture teaches when the laws of the land are not enforced, the fabric of society breaks down. It's one of the hallmarks of the Biden administration. They wanted to defund the police. They wanted to raise up protesters and rioters and all the rest of that. Now they got a free hand to do that. When the laws of the land are not enforced, the very fabric of society breaks down. Turn to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, verses 1 to 7. For behold, the Lord of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. The word stay there basically means the support and the supply. In other words, breakdown of food distribution, of the commodities that people need to effectively maintain their health and strength. This is a judgment that God brought on Israel. Verse 2, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. It's talking about the elements of society that go into making the society viable. The police, the judiciary, legislative, all that area of society that works together to make it a wholesome society breaks down. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. He's talking about people that have immature concepts, ineffectual rulers. It's talking about people that are not capable of holding the position that they're given. Those are the ones that are going to be raised up to dominate the people and dominate the population. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. So it's talking about the family unit being broken down. No respect for elders. Total disregard. The family unit, the society, everything breaks down under the rulership of an evil leader. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, let this ruin be under thy name. So in other words, people become so desperate, they're going to look for somebody who they can put confidence in, somebody who seems to have his family organized, somebody who seems to be prospering in this mayhem, this catastrophe, and they're going to run to him in mass and say, we want you to guide us and have authority over us. We submit to your guidance in the society because we can't get any redress from our government, from our leaders. So what is this person going to say? In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, nor in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. No, they're not going to take on that responsibility. If they're prospering, if they're having their family in an organized situation, and their life is being successful, being blessed in this mayhem, they are not going to want to step into a vacuum where they know that the only outcome will be a negative result. So they're going to back off and maintain their own situation. Principle. Scripture teaches the wrath of the wicked falls heavily upon God's people. We look at what's happening to the people in general, but when wicked people rule, God's people suffer extremely extensively. It's on Isaiah 52 verse 5. Isaiah 52 verse 5. Now therefore, what have I here, saith the Lord, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith the Lord, and my name continually every day is blasphemed. Egregious treatment of God's people and total disrespect for the name of God and the things of God can be looked for in a society ruled over by evil men. Last principle, Scripture teaches only those who are faithful to the Lord will flourish and be delivered in this type of a society. If God moves supernaturally and turns things around, it'll only be for one reason, I believe, and that is because of the righteous that have been consistently faithful to Him. He always delivers because of the righteous. But, and if He doesn't, understand, you will still thrive. Just stay faithful to Him. Turn to Psalms 92. We're going to read verses 9 to 15. Psalms 92, 9 to 15. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eyes shall also see my desire on mine enemies. Mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. To show that the Lord is upright, he is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Just be faithful to God. Do what you've been called to do. And God will see to it that you thrive when everybody else is going down the tubes.
Amen.
You know, I had another thought. I don't think that it was just character. I think that most people are not independent thinkers.
Yes.
So if something looks different than what we think it should appear to be, then we go with the masses. Instead of doing deeper in church and out of
Right.
church, instead of doing our own research,
Right.
we just believe what the common person says about the situation. And an example of that was like immigration, which was like really the first big issue, and how like the border thing. But when you have traveled at all, you know that you have to have visas to go into many countries. Like, this is not a new thought or concept,
Right.
but
Yes.
they made him like a horrible person for
Yes.
even bringing that up. So most people just deal with the surface. They don't go any deeper than, or could even hear what he was trying to say
Absolutely.
regarding that. So,
And the media know that.
yeah,
And
take
they
advantage
spin
of
these stories
it. Yes.
exactly.
Of course.
Yes.
It's called low information individuals. That's who they play to. People that they know are not going to research or question because they're hearing it on the radio or TV, and that it's got to be true because there's an authority person speaking it.